Thank you, Parthaban. There you go. Go ahead.
Thank you, Kendall. All right, so we crossed our attendee expected limit, so let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're attending this session. Thanks for joining. Today we have a jam-packed agenda. I like to before I go through the agenda, I like to really invite Patrick from Ratronics for helping us to putting this particular session together. Patrick, thank you. Ratronics, thank you. So the agenda would be, I'll start with welcoming, which I've already done. We'll start with updates on 5G Magma features, what has been developed so far, what has been tested so far, what is coming in release 1.7 at a very high level. And then followed by that, we will show a couple of demos. We have been testing with some of the partners with the real equipments, Ratronics and Wave Labs together. We'll be showing that demo today. And then I'll invite Patrick to share his experience, what his customers are expecting out of private networks and what we need to do as a Magma community to evolve our solution towards solving those requirements. And finally, I'll talk about some of the activities Wave Labs has been involved in and probably seek some support from you all to enable adoption of Wave Labs for, enabling adoption of Magma for 5G. And finally, we'll close the session. Moving on, again, Patrick, thanks for joining. I'm excited to hear from you. Let's get started with our R&D updates. But before that, just a quick reminder to every one of you, why are we having this meeting? What are we really trying to achieve out of this meeting? The first agenda is to ensure that we are able to provide all the development updates that's happening related to the 5G, to the community and to the wider community who would be interested to contribute and adopt Magma. And the second key objective of this meeting is to ensure whatever the update that we give, also hear from the other cross communities who are doing a lot of good work around open source. One such community is LF and 5G Super Blueprint, where Magma is being used to build the end-to-end blueprint. Sometimes we also invite them to hear from them. I'm not sure if Heather is today in the call. I would definitely, if she is, would like to invite her to speak and say a few words. Then the third key agenda is to show the demo, whatever that we have done, and real customer examples, integration successes to the wider community, so they can learn from that. And also the expectation is all these three activities that we do will enable engagement, collaboration, and adoption of Magma for 5G. That's the key goal, and that's what we wanted to really achieve out of this meeting. So having said that, I would like to now invite Suresh and Parthiban from Wave Labs to give an update on development, testing, and operations related activities, ops related activities that's been ongoing with respect to Magma for 5G. Suresh, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Kavar. So here is the feature availability on Magma as part of 5G SA Alpha release. 5G SA Alpha will be part of Magma 1.7 release that will be announced soon. We are expecting it can be in the latter part of March. And here is a list of procedures and features that will make to the release 1.7. Basic UE registration, all varieties of registration, and then 5G specific authentication, session establishment and release, idle mode support and paging, and then service request procedure. And then UE initiated deregistration will be part of the release. And in addition to that, because when it goes to deployment, the operators will be interested to see the reports and charging function also they will look for. So for that reason, this feature also is added part of the release. Okay. So Kadir, can you please move on to the next one? We have some additional features, completed development and integration testing available in the master branch. However, some hardening exercise is going on those features. So here is the list of features 9 to 14 Later in this update, I will also go a bit into the details of QoS and stateless feature, and then network initiated session modification. However, in this list, we also have SUSE extension support, IPv6 support, and also on the orchestration, we have internal service endpoints on the orchestrator. So to security harden orchestrator, AGW access to those orchestrator internal endpoints is also taken off. So that is another feature completed. And there is another feature in development today, that is GTP extension header support. So this is the ongoing activity right now, and probably this feature will be complete sometime in the month of April. And as such, the 5G beta and the GA plan is to be concluded sometime in the month of April. We'll have plan. Kadar, can you please go to the next one? So here is the high-level architecture available in Magma to support the QoS feature. So here we have Federation Gateway, orchestrator, and also components on AGW involved to support the QoS. Say on AGW, we have policy DB, session D, pipeline D, and MME process that implements the AGW task. So they are all involved in enforcing the desired QoS for the given subscriber. And on the arrow marks, you can see the objects involved in the design. However, a deep dive session on the QoS is given elsewhere. In one of the sessions, you can browse through the YouTube videos of that. Kadar, can you please go to the next one? Here is a NMS view of how the QoS policies can be configured on Magma. As such, most of you may be already aware, Magma is a converged core, and the 4G APNs are still used in the nomenclature, and the user interface created for 4G is still put to use. So that's the reason you will see APN instead of DNN here on the screen. And basically, multiple QoS classes are supported. And then we have GBR and non-GBR QoS flows supported. Can you please go to the next one, Kadar? Yeah, stateless support is very important one. The goal of this feature is none of the network functions on AGW maintain the state. So to achieve this, the state information is pushed onto Redis DB. In order to transition to this stateless support, the legacy implementation of the data structures had to be transitioned to ease on the serialization and deserialization. So here is a list of data structures that went through overhaul. And these data structures are tuned to protobuf syntax. Kadar, can you please go to the next one? And here is a high-level sequence of network-initiated session modification. Session modification is triggered by PCF present in the MNO core. And as such, as part of development, we didn't integrate any third-party PCF. However, we have built a stub to mimic the standards compliant service-based interface semantics of N7. Also, we tested the feature with the SCLI interface on the AGW itself. Basically, the policy change that comes in through the PCF stub gets propagated all the way up to the session daemon. And then after validation and processing of the message, the rules are set on the first path, I mean on the OVS, and then a reauth response gets propagated back to PCF. So this is a high-level sequence of flows. And from the left, when you observe AMF, session D, pipeline D, these are all the AGW components. And FEG relay is an orchestrator component. And N7 proxy and then the notification handler are part of the federation gateway. And PCF in our implementation is a stub right now, and it can integrate with any third-party policy function. So that's the high-level view on the development update and a little bit deep dive into a few of these features. With this, I'll hand over to Parthiban to give test and ops update.
Thank you, Suresh, for the crisp update. And I suppose in our future meetings, you would be providing the details of other features that you have been implementing to the community. Parthiban, over to you for test and ops update.
Yeah, thank you, Kader. Thank you, Suresh. Yeah, hello, everyone. Yeah, so with respect to the features, whatever Suresh has just given an overview. So if you take a look at it, we are having the upcoming 1.7 release where the 5G alpha is expected out. It's completely stable in terms of the testing side. We are able to do the various testing here, integration, scale, and the real equipment testing. You could see here I have presented the CI dashboard of the Magma where we have classified the test cases which are being targeted for the 5G alpha release in the dashboard. It's open for the community. Everyone could be able to take a look at it. And there are different worker nodes, and we are particularly concentrated. It's thanks to the Wave Labs that they are doing regression testing using multiple test tools here from Rebecca and Spirent and so forth. So this dashboard gives you the picture about the release tag, which shows the 1.7 5G alpha release is in much stable state on the integration side. And there are daily runs which are taken care, and the master is also fairly stable enough as well. And the scale test, we are using Spirent test tool to make sure that we are able to achieve. And the current target is that we want to achieve 200 UE on a concurrent UE registration. You could see that we are able to do that with 12 GNBs. So that's another target. We are able to reach that. You can see on the leftmost screen, I could be able to show you the NG setup request and response for the 12. Yes, that's the one, right one, Kader. Yeah, thanks for it. And we are able to get 4 sessions per UE, and that actually equals to the 800 PDU sessions. You could be able to see in the top, the PDU sessions are there, 800 over there. And with this, and we are able to reach the 400 Mbps as well. You could see the average data rate per UE will be of 2 point something on the megabits, and which is there on the right bottommost screenshot over there. So with this, the scale is also very much stable over there, and we welcome the community to go ahead and try it out. And we'd be expected that end of this month we will have the GA for this one, and everyone could be able to try. On the real equipment test, we do love to show you something what's actually captured on the real testing. So we have a demo as well. We have a short demo what's going on over there. We'll be able to happy to share it with all of you people. Yeah, Kader, please can you move to the next slide, please? Yeah, this is about the features which are available in the master, which Suresh has given a very deep level of explanation on each of these features over there, including the QAS and the network initiated sessions and everything. So these features are also getting tested in parallel to the 5G alpha release, which is coming out as 1.7. And this is also part of the CI as well. You could be able to see these test cases running over there. It's fairly stable. There are 1 or 2 bugs which are caught over the regression as we are trying to regress it more thoroughly to make sure the community gets really a quality code out, the converged Magma core out there. And the scale, what we are in progress is we are in default right now, we are testing on the NAT mode. We want to do it on the non-NAT mode. And we want to increase the long hours testing for the stability purpose. So that's where we are targeting to test for 16 hours, 24, 48 hours. And this is in progress already. We are testing it. We should expect this results to be out as well for the community soon. And on the real equipment test, whatever we have done is on the basic 5G alpha calls right now. And what's the plan to go forward is we want to test with the different traffic. UDP TCP, which is in progress already. And these results should be also available for the community in a short time. So pretty much this gives the update of what's going on here. On top, on the operations front, on the CI/CD, we are now running all of the 5G, and there are plans to update even to get hooked up with the converged core 4G code as well to be tested on the CI infra, which is going on right now. That's work is in progress, and you could see the community could get to see that also in the community dashboard in a short time. That's on the operational update, the DevOps side update as well.
Thank you, Parthiban. So we are getting ready to release 1.7. 5G Alpha is going to be part of it. And these are all the remaining features, like Suresh and Parthiban explained, is under work, which we would be working together with the TSC team for planning the future features, future releases to get these features in. Stay tuned. Moving on to our next agenda for the call. The real equipment demo. I like to really thank Ratronics team working collaboratively together with the community and Wave Labs to test in TIP CPQD lab, they call it as. I'm excited to see the demo from them, like what they have done and how it looks. So Parthiban, how do you want to do it? Do you want to share the screen to do it, or do you want me to?
Yeah, we can go over the topology, Kader, then we could share screen with, and we could do that. Can we go over the topology so that all the community understands what's there in the demo?
Yeah, can you make it a little quicker here?
Yeah, thank you, Kader. Yes, I could give a quick run through of the topology. It's a very simple topology over here because it's all directly fiber connected over here, which it's in a lab setup. And you could see here the AGWs are directly connected with the Bisel GNB, where it has an air interface with the UE over here. And Wave Labs is very kind enough to give to the community an orchestrator in AWS where people could come and play around with it. And that's where we have an AWS orchestrator, Magma orchestrator, which is connected both in the CPQD lab as well as in the Bisel lab. The AGWs are able to get connected into it, and we are able to make the testing here. And the devices which are used are the Bisels is an Open RAN configuration Bisels, and which is the model numbers are given over here. The BBU XS 1.6 is being used, and the UE we have used on the testing is Huawei Mate 30. That's the cell phones which are used on this testing. So pretty much there are a couple of pictures for people to get an look and feel of it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kader.
You want to share the screen? I think you sent me the recording, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yogesh will take it over from here. The first video to be played out. Yogesh, you want to play it yourself, or?
Yeah, we can. Kader, you can keep it. No problem. I can.
Sure. I need to share sound. Have you recorded the sound just to be sure?
No, no, we can go mute Kader on that. Or if you want, I can share it. No problem.
You're going to speak, right? You're going to speak.
Yes, I'm going to speak.
Okay.
I'm going to speak.
Let me, yeah, I downloaded it. Let me open it here.
You can mute the volume.
Sure.
Hi, everyone.
Yogesh?
So, yeah, am I audible, Parthiban?
Yes, please go ahead, Yogesh, please.
Oh, sure, sure. First of all, so this is the demo for we have done with Ratronics, and I would say thanks to Leandro and Gustavo for helping me out. To start with, this is the Bisel CPE. So this page shows the product name, model number, which we have been using for the test. This is the window for the GNB. It's a Bisel GNB. So here we have captured the hardware version, software, and other details with some other tunings. So this is the NMS dashboard of Magma, and here we are going to add a subscriber. So the subscriber is being added. We will give the IMSI, OPC, and key. Yeah, so the default APN will be selected, which have the default AMPR and other policies attached to it. So we can see that the subscriber is added in Dynamics dashboard, and it gets reflected in the AGW box, where we can see the UE level bandwidth and the EPN specific bandwidth that's getting captured here. Again, it will have the default class ID and priority levels, which is used while creating the APN. And then going forward, we are going to have the BiCP, and we will show that how while we restart the CP, it gets connected and the session gets established. Yeah, so the reboot has been done, and soon we will be seeing some of the logs in HW. These are the MMB specific logs. So just take a little bit time to pop up. Yeah, so we have started getting all the video session, the registration, the video session establishment, and the session creation messages. So all of the procedures are successful, and the next what we are going to test is the IP address, which is getting assigned to the subscriber. So the IP address. So here the IMSI used is 08. So we can see 13 is assigned, and then we are pinging to 8.8.8. So the ping is successful. Yeah, now to show that the ping actually is taking the path of Magma, we are going to dump some of the tables. These are the in and the out tables, which is taken on HW. So the ping is running in the background, and once we run the table stats couple of times, we can see that the packet counters are incrementing. So table 20 is for out when the packet is put on the wire, and table 0 is the table where the packet is entered into the box. So yeah, it is just a couple of times we are taking the snapshots to see the packet stats getting implemented. So change to 10523, that is the out stats, and these are the in stats where we can see 5 packets have entered. Yeah. Next, the idea was to show the actual path which packet takes while traversing the Magma AGW. So this is the uplink direction. Sorry, this is the downlink direction. Packet coming from internet towards the UE. So this is the path. So this on a high level shows the in, out, and the QoS tables which are used. This is for the uplink traffic, where the packet enters from the GTP and goes out to the internet. So this is the different tables, and finally, in OBS you can see the final flow. So this is to show that the packet is traversing the path. And we have used the GUI for BiCP to show that one was the terminal, and here is the GUI part to show that the thing is working. So as our sessions here are up, we will be able to send the traffic, and we are able to get the response. That's from the CP device. So all the packet captures have been running in the background. So in the end, we are going to see some of the packets. This is one more time we are doing the reboot to show that even after connected, and if we reboot, we are getting reconnected back with all the information. So Yeah, we can see the registration is completed, and then the older contacts are cleaned up, and all the video sessions are established. Yeah, and this is the high-level packet capture. It shows both the control plane and the GTP, which is used as the fast path. So we are not going through the flow-wise, but the idea was to just show that we have service request going back and forth, and we have then the GTP packets through TCP and DNS, which have been exchanged over the fast path. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of the demo. We will be sharing all the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. Yeah, can you guys hear me? I muted myself, hopefully.
Yes, Kader, we can hear you.
Thank you. Great demo. And one of the challenge, even though we had the code base available in 5G master branch, one of the challenge of the community is to really get the working G-Node Bs to get to where we are without getting into too much of details, as well as the availability of the G-Node B. We weren't really able to get hold of a place where we can test this and prove that the code is working. Now today we are able to do it mainly because of two community members. One has obviously helped us to give us the lab, and the second key reason is thanks to Ratronics. Patrick, thank you. Leonardo, thank you. Gustavo, thank you for coming together and working together to make this real equipment product working with the real equipments. Thanks a lot again. So we have another 2-3 minutes. Fathiman, I also know that you tested in some other lab. I think you tested with Basil's in their lab in China, right? And I trust you wanted to show a couple of minutes demo on that.
Yeah, can you give me the share screen, Kader, so that I could, in respect of time, I could quickly go over it because I understand.
Do you have the permission? Let me check.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I can give you a host permission.
Yeah, I do have it. I have. I'm sharing the screen. Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. So this is another demo which we have done. We are here to show you all the community members. This is another test which is done in the Bicel. Thanks to the Bicel for their great support and helping us to get really productize the Magma, as Kader was mentioning, to do the interoperability testing within their lab on the Bicel equipment. So the thing is, the only difference what I here mainly want to show is the CP was used in the first demo. Here, what we have done is we have used the Huawei Mate 30 as the user equipment here. You could see here we are opening up the multiple tabs, which will capture the TCP dump for the PCAPs, the MME logs, syslogs, and we have also kept a window with the T-Shark utility where we could be able to see all the NGIP messages coming over here and all the messages which are flowing. And you could see an Visor app, which is enabling from the airplane mode into an disable the airplane mode, where you could see that all the initial UE message come in and identity request comes in, authentication request comes in, and you could see that the initial context setup came in, and you could see that there is an PDU session establishment happened. And post this, then what we have done is we have used what is I'm in the respect of time, I'm just moving forward. Yeah, a little bit so that I could show the team here. We went into the mobile device and we could enable a ping here where we are able to see the traffic flowing from the mobile device to the network, which is connected now, the 5G network, what is being created right away. You could see here, the traffic is flowing here. This is the one of the awesome thing which was happening. Love to share this with the community. So pretty much after this, it's going to be the same. And we could see that once this ping is getting closed, once we are able to reach to this end of the ping, then we could see that the packets are closed. Then you will see that the mobile device is moving into an idle mode. Then it will do a service request and it will go for again reactivation of it. That's what's happening here. You could see that now the ping packets are stopped, and then you could see that the context release request came in and the mobile device is gone into the idle mode. So this is the pretty much I want to show here. Then the PCAPs and everything are same from the both testing. This is the thing here. So back to you, Kader.
Thank you, Parthiban. Let me again share my screen here, get the presentation up. All right, perfect. We are a couple of minutes behind compared to the agenda. Let me, it's my privilege and honor, whatnot, Mr. Patrick, floor to you. Would you like to share your screen, or shall I do that?
Please help me by swapping shares. That is quicker, but I can tell you when I want you to swap. So you can go back. So I just give a quick introduction if you go back. First of all, thanks a lot to Wavelabs for the cooperation around this demo. It's been great to see all the knowledge coming from Wavelabs into this, and yeah, it's very nice to see the progress we're making now with real equipment. So thanks a lot to Kader and team, and also of course to the TIP community. First of all, we from Redonics, I mean, we have been working, we have a number of commercial customers on 4G. That has mainly been within the fixed wireless access space. But now when 5G Magma is becoming real, we see a great opportunity within the enterprise space. And when Suresh started, I mean, he was mentioning that we have two market opportunities, fixed wireless access and private wireless. And from our side, from the customers that we are currently discussing with, the true and highest interest is actually coming from the enterprise side. And I would just like to describe a little bit why is 5G Magma very important for us in order to fulfill this enterprise need. Okay, can you switch? So the key thing that is different now, and the key thing that has changed is that everyone speaks about an industry 4.0 or enterprise 4.0. And the difference there is that what you need to have is a fully connected enterprise with a tailored solution, meaning that they really truly have a private wireless solution where all their sensors, all their applications are being connected to something that can be considered as an extension of their internal network. And that is of course very important, because what we're talking about here is that previously network has been large with thousands of base stations or tens and thousands of base stations. But what we're talking about here are small networks with maybe 10 base stations. So from 10,000 to 10. On the other hand, we're talking about millions of networks. So it's a fundamentally different need that we are looking here. And when you increase the number of networks, what becomes fundamental then is that you need to have automation and simplicity for the single enterprise, which means that someone that can come in, like the Magma community is doing with new solutions and enabling new providers like ourselves, makes it possible to actually fulfill this type of future enterprise need, which are today not being sort of happening in the market. So what are they expecting then? If you go to the next slide, I mean, the key thing is that they want to have a secure and powerful wireless network, meaning that it should be their network, which is only possible if you build it dedicated for the specific enterprise. And they want to have that, and they want to maximize productivity with new services. They want to connect the unconnected. They want to connect all the devices of different kinds, which is not generally mobile phones. It's generally IoT devices and other types of productivity increasing devices with the applications. And they want to have something where the actually use case is fulfilled rather than just getting connectivity. So it's going to be a great place for anyone that provides automation and simplicity. One thing that I have on the right-hand side there is that when you're connecting the IoT or the devices with the applications, the 5G network is of course very important. But when we move into 5G, the edge compute is going to go ahead hand in hand with that, because it's all about high-performing local network, and then you need the edge compute. To make it a little bit, if you go into the next slide, I can concretize. So how does a network like this look like? And it's no rocket science really, but it's all about connecting the device to the application locally at the enterprise or the industry park with automation and simplicity. And the key thing here is that what Magma is doing, I mean, with the starting point of Magma, that is have a focus on the O&M and really controlling the management of the network, is a very, very good starting point for extending it to other parts of the network as well. And of course, the traffic handling, and in this case, I mean, the local breakout happening and at the enterprise fits perfectly well into the access gateway thinking of Magma, because it is now possible to break it out. And of course, that is a fundamentally different thing compared to the operator that has conventionally existed within 4G, where you need to send it outside of the enterprise premise. But also one cool thing here is that once we are deploying this access gateway out to the enterprises, this is also the starting point for an edge cloud compute capability, because the access gateway is just the first application, so to say, and then you have the platform there for extending other types of applications. But of course, it doesn't necessarily need to be so that all applications are running. It can sort of from our side, it can be also so that you go out to the internet or you go to a local instantiation of a public cloud. But the nice thing here is that Magma provides 3 key components into this, and it's a very good starting point for the automation and simplicity for the enterprise. So the key thing for us is that we need to shift the focus going from 4G to 5G. The focus, according to us, or at least from our side, is very much on the enterprise solutions and making it possible for the enterprise 4.0 to happen.
Thank you, Patrick.
Cool.
This is awesome. Hey, just a quick question. I really liked when you said 5G goes hand in hand with edge computing, and you know, both coming together is going to solve a number of enterprise use cases. That's pretty clear. You know, we looked at a number of use cases. You know, one is the broadband and connecting multiple devices, right? MTC related use cases, and then low latency related use cases. Nowadays, metaverse is talked about a lot. So when you are talking to your customers, Patrick, is there any specific use cases that they have been asking you? If it is not confidential under NDA, can you enlighten us, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, what I could do now is that I could give you some examples of the cool use cases that you have been seeing sort of from a 5G perspective and 5G and edge. And of course, all these type of use cases are coming up from us as well. But I would like to add another dimension, which is very, very interesting here. And I think some people might not have been thinking about it, because this latency, which is very connected to 5G, is of course one of the reasons, but it's actually only 1 out of 3 reasons for why you would like to have an edge cloud compute. The other 2 reasons that is less spoken about is that when the enterprise do this, they want to have a private network. They want to have a secure network. And I was speaking to an enterprise yesterday, and what they were saying is that we want to create our 5G bubble. Meaning that when you go inside their premises, you have a secure connection where you have a premium connectivity, and you know you're inside that bubble and no information go anywhere else. They actually have full control over what is happening inside that, and is treated as their network, so to speak. Which is something that doesn't necessarily need the most talked about latency features. It needs something totally different, meaning that you keep the data inside and under the control of the enterprise. Another reason for why we are seeing that the edge compute is very relevant is for the simple fact that you, in some scenarios, either don't have the backhaul, or that it's too costly for sending all the data. So then you also have a reason for deploying this. And we're seeing this, for example, in smart farming cases, in mining cases. And it's not so much that the latency. Is 5G improved, so to say, but the edge compute is still required from that perspective.
Understood. And of course, Magma is getting there. Of course, we have to do a lot of work to enable a number of additional use cases than what Magma supports today. From your point of view, are you excited to take this because it's now working? We have made it work together. Are you excited to take this and show demo to your customers? What are your plans? Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're longing for, to start doing the POCs with the customers, because seeing in reality is believing, right? So that we now are at this point where we can start doing real POCs together with customers is of course going to be a real enabler for doing the business. So from our side, we're super excited about it, and thanks a lot to everyone in the community for contributing to coming to this point.
Perfect. I mean, is there any specific verticals that you're targeting? Would be interesting to know which kind of customers and verticals that you're focusing, taking the product to the market. I mean, not product, end-to-end solution to the market.
Yeah, I mean, what I just mentioned is 5G bubble. That was typical industry park thinking. That was coming from the industry park. We're also seeing that process industry that is requiring steering a lot of their sort of internal processes and need to increase the automation of what they're doing is also one of our key segments for this. Another one is mining. We think we're very interesting. We see a lot of need for high throughput because they want to have a lot of cameras so they can remotely control that there is security, as well as being able to utilize the equipment in the best possible way. They need to have a lot of HD cameras and so on, which is hard to do with sort of 4G upload speeds and so on. So these are 3 examples.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Lots of insights. If anyone in the community in this call have any questions to Patrick, feel free to type it in the chat. I'll be happy to ask him. Moving on to the next and the last part of our agenda. So you heard from Patrick, right? Enterprise use case is one of the key use case that industry that we need to go behind. Multiple industries within that enterprise use case that we need to go behind. What you see in this particular slide is an extract from IHS Market. It's pretty nicely done slide. I really like it. What they predict is the 5G enabled sales will reach $13.1 trillion. From the point of view of sales activity. That's a lot of money from now to next 10 to 15 years. It's a great opportunity for all of us. It's not only that, right? It's not only about making money. It's also about the job opportunities that it opens up. There's another study which says it requires something like 12 to 15 million job opportunities. It will open up 5G related job opportunities. It will open up. But if you look at it today, the biggest challenge, even for Wave Labs, any company that are out there to find the right talent that can fulfill the demand, that can supply and fulfill the demand that industry is going to face moving forward. So what does it mean from the Magma community point of view? So we need to ensure that we develop the expertise in 5G. We develop more people knowing Magma for 5G is going to be critical for our success, right? And then the second key thing is about, which industry today Magma that we can go behind. If you see this diagram, this particular picture, this is another cool thing that I like about this particular picture is that it kind of classifies into 3 categories, right? Broadband, Internet of Things, and critical services, which is low latency services. And it also says which industries require, have a need of, more and less need of in different scale, these 3 different types of services. So if you look at it today, manufacturing, information and communication, as well as education, art and entertainment requires more of enhanced mobile broadband services. Against, for example, utilities require mission critical services. right? So what does it mean if you have to reflect this to what we support to Magma? So today Magma supports broadband services, so we can go behind different enterprise verticals which requires these broadband services. But that doesn't stop. It doesn't stop there, right? The same industry might require, like take for example manufacturing. It require features that are embedded into the Magma for supporting massive machine type communications, and maybe they may not require as much as URLLC, but still in some use cases they do require URLLC. For example, the robotics related use cases. So the message that I wanted to give is we have a good starting point today, but there is a lot that we need to evolve our code base in 5G Magma to get to and address this huge market opportunity that are out there. And we as a community have to come together, support each other to really get there together to grab this market share. It's very critical and it's very important for all of us to understand that. The second key point I also would like to bring upon is, in addition to the market opportunity and the job opportunity that is out there, it's also very important to understand most of the products have become commodity, right? I mean, it's not, we don't live 10 years, 15 years ago. It's a different story. Now the barrier of entry is reduced because of open sources, a lot of awesome good work done by a number of different open sources, Linux foundations and so on. So the barrier of entry is low, and smaller companies and nimble and agile companies like Ratronics, Wavelabs, and many other companies can actually jump into this, jump into this market and earn market share from this, big market share that is out there for everyone to grab from, right? So that's number one. And the next important thing is it's that products has become commodity, right? Where we all can make money is also about is also on the services. I mean, I've been reading a number of reports, right? So one of the reports that I kind of put it in here, ABI Research predicts that integration services is going to cost more than the actual private cellular infrastructure. And that's the reality. I mean, we are already seeing that, and it's going to happen more and more. So what's important, again, the expertise that we build, end-to-end ecosystem solution that we can build, and the expertise that allows us to build is going to be critical more than just having products, right? This is how the industry is moving forward. Now, from that point of view, what does it mean to Magma community? And I'm going to a little bit where also Wavelabs hat here is that from Wavelabs point of view, when it comes to the contribution towards the community, we call it as a 2I strategy, right? And the first I strategy, we call it as an expertise. And like I mentioned in my previous slide, developing the expertise is very, very critical, not only within Wavelabs, but also outside Wavelabs in the community is critical for us all to be successful. And at Wavelabs, we have done a number of initiatives. One of the initiatives that we have taken up is together with the Canadian government, the city in Canada called Brampton, with their support, we are kind of trying to do a program which we call it as a decoding 5G to skill up and innovation up on 5G technology for the right reasons that I explained in the previous slide. And also we, at Wavelabs, we work together with Meta as well as the TIP, and we created a 5G FWA test plan towards the contribution to the community. So people who have access to the test plan can build test cases and validate the products that they are building and the solutions that they are offering to their end customers in case of system integrators, right? So the point I wanted to make here is the first I, which is expertise, is very critical for not only for Wavelabs, but also bringing that and enabling that outside of Wavelabs in the community and outside of community, and bring them back into the community is going to be very critical. And I'm proud to say Wavelabs has been putting a lot of efforts, has put a lot of efforts in the past, including this meeting, as you all know, and we are continuing to put a lot of efforts to build the expertise around Magma, which is going to be key for our success. Moving forward, the second key I that we believe is called as ecosystem. It is as equally important as building the expertise, right? It's very important that we have to build an ecosystem centered around Magma for 5G, right? And if you are able to do that, not necessarily it has to be a closed source ecosystem, but it can also be an open source ecosystem, right? So if you are able to build an end-to-end solution with open source, great work done by LF blueprint project, and we have been part of that for a while, and we continue to support that project. And also we work with a lot of closed source vendors to kind of build I call it as a center around Magma blueprint to provide an end-to-end solution. These are very, very critical for making Magma for 5G successful, as well as the company, nimble companies like all of us, wherever that we are working on to make it successful. Moving on, there's someone here, let me admit. So when it comes to the ecosystem, it's not only enough to just build open source around centered around Magma and closed source centered around Magma and have an end-to-end solution. What is also important is indulge ourselves as an individual as well as a company to do innovation, right? What are all the different things that we can do to make the life better and reduce the cost and improve the efficiency, the typical stuff. It's very important. At WaveLabs, we have something called as an innovation and research lab, and we work with a number of our partners. We do research not only from the point of view of building an ecosystem around Magma with open source, but also with the closed source. The number of things that we have done, what you see is one example. Just to say here, we used some closed source products from Basils and MyCloud BSS. And we used some open sources, for transport as well as for integration with IMS, and also the remote centralized config, Genia ACS. Probably you all know. If you don't know, you can go and look it up. So the point I'm trying to make is not to explain what we have done, but to give a message that it's just not good enough to build Magma, but it is equally important for us to build an ecosystem around Magma, for Magma to be successful, all of us to be successful as an individual, as a company, right? So that's pretty much is our 2I strategy at WaveLabs that we have been doing for a while, and we continue to do that. I openly seek support from every one of you in the community to join together in this community activity to build an end-to-end solution. And we have seen some success personally as a company, and we are repeating that success. We have seen that in 4G, all these innovation research lab, whatever that we did together with open source and the closed source, we have been able to replicate that end to end in some of the 4G customer base. Now we are trying to replicate the same success with our 5G customer base, whoever is working with us. And from it's a couple of things, right? One is about giving a solution, and second thing is about giving the right solution for the right use cases at the right price point, right? So what you see here is a price point where when we worked with one of our customers, they said their price point is very low and they wanted to already start seeing from the year one ROI. Otherwise, it's very difficult for them to move into a FWA network from the current Wi-Fi network, right? So we were able to work together with them to, with the help of a few variations and business cases to get them ROI even from the first year. But all these things is not possible without, building an expertise and building an ecosystem centered around Magma and having an innovation lab to bring all these things together to create an end-to-end solution. So it's very, very critical to the success. And finally, this is my last slide for today. 3 more minutes to go. We are also very committed towards enabling the adoption of Magma for 5G. And 2 key points I'd like to share here. One thing is we all have to come together to enable a number of individuals as well as the communities in Magma MCF to adopt and start using and playing around the Magma. So from WaveLabs point of view, like Parthiban mentioned earlier, we have provided a free orchestrator for them to just log in and connect their A gateway to do the pilots. Feel free to reach out to us in the WaveLabs 5G support Slack channel, in the Magma Slack channel. We'll be happy to support you there. And not only for that, but also for, if you wanted to test out your product with Magma, please reach out. If you wanted to be part of the innovation lab that we have initiated, please reach out. As well as if you wanted to get your team members in your companies who know and who do not know to upskill and skill up and innovation up on Magma, please send them to the Decoding 5G program that we are starting from tomorrow, 9 to 10 a.m. EST. Feel free to join us on that. Right. So that brings us to the end of today's presentation. I said two key messages. One message is, we got to do all these, as a community to enable the adoption of Magma. And the second key message is it's also equally important to evolve with additional features, not only support the broadband. First we need to ensure that what are all the mandatory features that are missing to what we support today, bring that into the Magma code base, so we are able to address all the beautiful use cases that Patrick talked about, as well as we are we have to plan on supporting some additional use cases related to MTC and URLLC to ensure that Magma doesn't just stay within the broadband customer related use cases, but also used across different other use cases that are low latency and multiple enhanced MTC, connecting lots and lots of machines and sensors related use cases. With that, we are bringing close to the end of the session. I'd like to see if there is any question. We have a minute. Let's see. Patrick, are you still there? There's one question for you, Patrick, if you are there. I know you had a top of.
I'm still here.
Okay, there's a question for you. Of the high throughput use cases for enterprises, is there a real need for them to enable low latency application? What is latency demand your customers have for the closed loop applications?
Yeah, I mean, that's what all 5G is all about, is the latency. And that's why I didn't speak so much about it, because everyone else speaks about it. But of course, there are use cases. I can give you one example, is an augmented reality application that we're talking with a customer about, where what they want to do is that they have a lot of training, and they also have a lot of quality issues, or not quality issues, but it's very, very important that they have high quality for what they're doing. So what they want to do is that they want to have an augmented reality application for their production line, so to say. And if that is not working in a very high quality with low latency, with sort of a local loop, it won't work. So of course there are these type of use cases as well.
Thank you, Patrick. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's session. Thanks a lot. There was 2 months gap we had. We started from this month. Happy to see more than 55 people attended today's session. I'm looking forward to the next month session. Join us the second week Friday, same time, same Friday in the month of April. And meanwhile, please reach out to us in the Slack channel and reach out to us for all the requests that we have put on the table. Let that be, building expertise or building ecosystem, as well as doing some research and innovation around and everything around centered around Magma. So with that, I would like to close the session. Thank you very much for everyone joining. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Mustafa, for your appreciation. You all have a wonderful evening, wonderful afternoon, wonderful day, wherever you are from. And talk to you all soon. Bye-bye. Patrick, Ratronics team, thank you very, very much.